about screenwriting, which is different nowadays because nowadays a lot of the students that we get, I don't know how it is with you, but they take screenwriting in middle school and high school, and they're like they know what they're doing, and I didn't at the when I began, but I still I find this a useful exercise, and the idea is that I don't lecture initially. We just don't, the idea is to demystify the writing process. And the best way to do that is to give them I'm going to miss somebody here. Okay. Is to just, instead of talking about swimming, you kind of push them in the water and see how they swim and help them along so they don't drown, and they won't drown. What I tell them is that screenwriting is fundamentally a game that you play with your audience. And what your objective in your game is to turn them into the smartest people in the world, to make them think that they're the most observant uh, people on the planet. And you're giving them clues about what's happening, about the story, but they think that they're discovering it themselves and they piece it together. This is constructivist psychology, basically. And they start to develop hypotheses about where this is going. And they start to construct the world that you're actually giving them, but they're actively involved in creating. So to that end, all I need you to do is get out a sheet of paper. That's the old way. Get out a blank page, and I'm going to share a screen. I know how to do that because I actually practiced yesterday to make sure there wouldn't be any glitches. Um, I'm going to share the first exercise, and I usually give students about 20 minutes to do this. And let me put it up here, and we'll make sure requesting a bypass. Okay, whatever that means. Okay, how do I? Well, I did share this successfully earlier. Here it goes. Um, well, I might not share it. I might just simply tell you the assignment, which is the old way of doing it. It is earlier today, this gave me an option of sharing a screen or an app, and now it's
Yeah, if so, there should be. I I think the layout can be different for some people, but from on my layout, there's a share button at the top right of the screen, right
Hmm.
next to the leave button. And if you click on that, it gives you a few different share options. You can share
Yes,
screen, or you can share the file directly onto the Teams as well.
I'm getting share content includes sound. I'll put that on. No, never mind. Uh, this is called an obstacle to the main character. How do we get this? Okay, I see screen,
Mm,
window. Okay, got it. I think I can pick there it is. You guys see that?
Yes.
got it.
Okay, so I'll walk you through it real quick. Can I change the zoom a little bit in this? Let me zoom to fit visible. Nope, that is not it. Full screen. Zoom to
That worked. It's bigger.
fit the height. Can you guys read that? Is that too small?
No, the last thing was better.
All right, I'll walk you through it because you're not gonna need to worry about this anyway. Zoom to fit the width. Okay, you can see that. All right. So
That's good.
all I want you to do, you don't have to worry about screenwriting format. Just I ask you to write it in the present tense. Um, and what you're going to do is write three scenes, a paragraph for each one, no dialogue, and it basically is you pick a character of your choice. It can be anybody you like, and in the first scene they go to some place that is unfamiliar to them. They've never been there before, and it's mysterious to that person. And the scene ends when they encounter somebody else that they don't know, they've never met before. Okay, that's it. The second scene paragraph you're going to write is the same place later. There's been a time in between the scenes, and the same character goes to the same place, and this time it's familiar, and the other person is the same person. They meet the same person, and this time that other character is waiting for them. So it's a pleasant greeting. And then the third scene you write is some years afterward. It's up to you, the interval. Same character that you had all the way through goes to that same place, and this time it's deserted. The other character's not there anymore. And you try to evoke a sense of nostalgia. Um, and like I say, simple, no more than a page typewritten. Uh, and the idea, the instructions are here, have both the character and story in mind as you write the scenes. And basically, you're telling the story with these three clues at different points, and the audience needs to figure out what happened uh, in between the scenes. And I encourage them to use atmosphere, uh, light, sound, lighting, time of day, weather, wear and tear, help to create changes in the environment. And you can think about the way the character walks. Don't think too much about it, but how they behave that can express who they are. And just some general things here. I'll leave it so you can look at. And that's it. Why don't we come back at 6:30? That's 20 minutes. And don't worry, one of the ideas is to try to create a sandbox in this class. You're creating an environment where people feel perfectly free to flop. So if you don't get done or it doesn't come out right, it doesn't matter. And we'll get together in 20 minutes and just read what we got. And I'll do this exercise also, so I can go first if you'd like. Any questions?
Laura says, can you attach this document in the chat so that we have it to refer to?
If that would be wonderful. Okay, then let me figure out how to do that. I just don't use this for, I'm going to stop sharing for a sec so I can clear my screen and figure out it's in chat. Okay, I see chat, and Laura has a great idea here. I'm going to, can I just drag and drop it in there? I should be able to, because this is, oh, wait, where did she put it? It's not my computer. I will find it. And don't worry, you'll get extra time.
If you have a link, like if it's on a drive or something, the link, we could probably grab it.
The link would be a great idea, but I don't. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Okay,
Sure.
it's going to be in an email that I just sent her. She put it somewhere.
If you email it to me, Paul, I could send it around the mailing list group, and then everyone should get that pretty quick. I actually can't see how to attach a file in the chat here. I thought it was easy. I can't see how to do it at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to send it to Chris right now.
Yeah, send it to me, and then I'll.
And don't worry, this will not be graded. Document. So if you don't have time, that's all right. There you go, PDF, and Chris should have it. And
Probably take a sec.
All right. Yeah, it had to go all the way across the ocean and then up to Scotland to make a left
into rural Scotland. It's pretty nice. It's hard to get anything into rural Scotland, really, except whiskey. There's a lot of whiskey.
Lots of that.
There's literally a wall of whiskey just that way. It's very dark and cold in rural Scotland. Need lots of whiskey.
Okay.
Well, how about if you pop the document back on the screen, Paul, and then say, and I'll forward the PDF as soon as it arrives.
Okay.
But maybe we could take like 25 minutes instead of 20 and just get started, and I'll send it on as soon as it pops through.
You'll get the same. We'll get the same effect. So let's say 25 minutes. So a quarter before or whatever, 6:45, and we'll just get started and do our best. Okay. And I put up the part of the thing. I'll put this. Let me see. This is the first part. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you at 25 at quarter of.
Thanks, Paul.
Although my daughter doesn't know what that means. It's all digital. Quarter of what? What does that mean? Anyway,
Kids these days, Paul.
yeah, okay.
I've just forwarded the document to everybody, so you should get it in your email inbox in just a moment if you want it.
Thank you very much. Is the class almost ready? Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, if you need to.
Pardon?
Yes, sir, I'm ready, sir.
You're ready? Okay. Well, just finish up. It doesn't matter if you're not complete. We're just going to take what we got. I'm giving you my normal spiel. Um, okay. Would anybody like to share theirs first? Or would you like me to throw mine out there?
Well, as the host, I'll happily take the bullet and break the seal. That feels like
Excellent.
a hostly thing to do, doesn't it? Should I read the whole thing out, Paul, or should I describe?
Yes. And if you could share it, can you share the screen or is it only me?
Well, I did it the old-fashioned way. I can
Oh,
I can
okay.
do that, but I think it would be better if I
Just read it. Yeah, sure.
read it. Okay.
Okay.
So,
And then at this point, of course, I tell everybody, shut your laptops and be present with us. Now, I can't ask you guys to do that because then we won't be
Don't.
present. But
Don't shut your laptops, everybody.
all right. Thank you, Chris. Please jump
Right.
in.
Scene 1, exterior rural train station, night. Simon, 30s, glasses, journalist, gets off the train carrying a small travel case onto a dark platform, drizzle and mist, one flickering light. A few stern-faced people walk off into darkness, pulling up their hoods. The footpath is almost pitch black, wet underfoot. He fiddles with his phone, turns on its light. It provides a few feet of dim illumination. In the mid-distance, a big dog barks aggressively. The little high street is semi-empty. 3 teenage boys, one with his face covered, eye Simon from across the street as he heads for the door of McKay's. Interior, McKay's pub, continuous. Dark, knackered, half-empty, muted football on big flat screens and Bruce Springsteen. Bald heads turn his way. One doesn't turn. At the bar, a man hunched over, a spaniel at his feet. The spaniel sees Simon, sits up. As the man hears Simon approaching and does turn his way. 40s, glasses, sallow-eyed, a haunted face. This is Jason. Scene 2. Exterior rural train station, day. Simon, 40s, gets off the train onto a snow-slick platform, slipping and just managing to stay upright. A middle-aged woman half catches him. The high street is trimmed with fairy lights hanging from poles and shop fronts, Christmas decorations in the windows, a passing mother and her daughters joking and laughing. McKay's is full, steamed windows, the Pogues playing, steaming roast dinners, laughter. The waitress greets him warmly. At the bar, Jason, 50s, talking with a woman, Nisha, 20s. Nose piercing, blue fringe, smiling. She sees Simon. The spaniel at Jason's feet wags its tail. Scene 3. Interior McKay's day. Simon, 50s, stands in McKay's doorway. It's deserted, chairs on tables, halfway through refurbishment. TV's off, lights off, only the sound of cars passing outside. He walks to the bar. The stools are atop it. He takes one stool down, sits it beside him, looks at it. He looks at the out-of-use taps. He reaches over, flips one. A few drips of dark liquid. He licks them off his hand. His eyes teared up. The end. I think.
Okay. Excellent. Good. So the first one, he's 30, and the second one he's in his 40s, and then he's about 50.
That's right. 30s, 40s, 50s.
Okay, good. Anybody, now what I would normally ask is, can anybody summarize the story just in the simplest terms? Anybody want to take a shot? Yes, Roseanne.
It's funny enough, when you say simplest terms, it made me think it's the story of a town dying, if you will, watching a town, a place in the town, a place that represented the community of the town disappearing.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's an interesting take. Um, what I kind of look for is more like, just kind of recite what happened. You have a man who you mentioned he's a journalist. Did you say that
Yeah,
or did
I didn't do anything with that, but I did mention at the start that he was a journalist.
Of course, if you're just using sight and sound, we wouldn't know that. You'd have to have a strategy if you wanted to use it to reveal that. But since you said it, I was waiting. Is he doing an investigative piece? That's where my mind went on this town, and is that why he's there? And then the second time, he's made friends with them, with the locals, even though he's actually not a local because he got off this train. And then, of course, the third one, very effective nostalgia. I mean, the use of the atmosphere is great in this. The only question I had was if he was in his 40s on the second one, and then he's looking at a little bit of the beer when he's in his 50s. How long was that place closed? Is that beer any good? That happened? Probably was more recent. Actually, that's a clue, isn't it? It's rather more recent. In a way, you could say he might be shocked to see that the place is closed because it's still fresh. Anyway, so yeah, so that was there, but it seems like he was just was he just moved into the town, the first one? Well, he was had a briefcase.
Yeah, so what I was thinking was in the first one, he's gone to this I was using the small rural Scottish town that I've just arrived in. That was why I thought of
Yeah,
this person from the city arriving in small rural place. And I was thinking he'd gone to interview this guy who had had some kind of significant loss in his life. And I started off thinking maybe this is a guy who had lost his wife or something. But I didn't quite decide what it was. There's some significant loss with this guy. And in the second scene, the thing that came to me was that he had been estranged from his daughter. And in the second scene, he's not. He's there with his adult daughter. And I was thinking they've the journalist character has become kind of friendly with them as well and kind of familiar with the place because that's built into the task. And then in the third one, um, probably I think the guy has passed away.
I see.
And yeah, that
And his
was
business was crucial to that pub.
exactly
So
exactly. Once he was
naturally, it went
gone,
out of business. No, now what's
quite like that.
interesting to me, people chime in if you want, if I'm yakking too much, but when you mentioned the young girl, the 20-year-old and the 50-year-old guy, what occurred to me immediately was that's a power imbalance. Why is is he going out with this really young girl? Is he that appealing, or what's going on there? But if you mentioned that had a loss, he lost his wife or something, then I would interpret it differently. If you had conveyed that, I would have said, oh, he's found a new lover.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't how. But again, you're working under restrictions here, obviously. But it's interesting how the clues can play in different ways, and I'm thinking of uh, but possible romance rather than that. But it's very you could tell that this man is a professional writer. I don't think he should be taking the introductory class. He should probably be teaching. He should be teaching it.
Oh, oh, me? Oh, thank you.
That's right. Um, okay. Would anybody else like to jump in and share a little piece? Yeah, Roseanne, please.
I'll do it if you're up for it. Okay, I'll read through, or do you want me to share it?
If you
I
can.
typed. I cheated. I typed because my
Oh,
brain
you
doesn't
don't
think
didn't
without
cheat by
fingers like
typing.
these.
It's all typing nowadays.
So I can read or I can try and share. What do you want?
Yeah, oh yeah, please share it. I always find
Yes,
comprehension
I
does
can.
go up. Oh, Chris's was very articulate,
Visual.
so it worked
Yeah, what
fine.
does it say? Of course, I never use Teams, so what's it going to let me? I'm terrible at this. Why don't you share what? How do these things? Ah, I'm bad at this. This is awful.
If
Sorry.
if if you've got the big share button in the top
Right.
right of the screen,
Right. And
uh,
it gives me too many choices.
yeah, there's loads of choices, but for me, right, the one right at the bottom is browse my computer, and then you can just choose your file, and that
I want you
should
to browse a thing called OneDrive, which I don't use. So that's useless. Sorry. That's embarrassing and silly, isn't it? No files. Doesn't like me. Oh, never mind. I'll just read. I can always send it to you.
Read it,
Okay.
sounds good. Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Stepping into the darkness, Carrie squinted 3 or 4 times until she could make out a hospital bed, but no one in it. The blinds on the only window are closed tight and the television is turned off. She turns back, but the brighter light of the hallway blinds her eyes even more. She moves through the doorway only to crash into a cart full of bottles and other medical equipment. A young male nurse pushing the cart signals for quiet and gently points to the clock on the wall. It's 1:45, and judging by the darkness, we know that means 2 a.m., not 2 p.m. Carrie raises her hands to ask the universal question, where, as in, where is the woman meant to be in this bed? The male nurse, whose name tag reads Matthew, pushes his cart to the side and indicates that she should sit down on the chair just inside the door. Then he gestures for the doctor making rounds to step over to them, and he offers her a glass of water from the cart and his hand. Looking into Matthew's eyes, Carrie realizes that her mother is not in the room because she is gone. All that rushing through traffic was for nothing. She missed their last moments and the chance to say she was sorry. They won't come again. Number 2, Carrie walks down the hall toward her mother's hospital room carrying fresh flowers in a teddy bear shaped vase, clearly something she found in the gift shop in the lobby, likely meant for a child in the pediatric wing, but it offers a jaunty air to her arrival. She nods to the nurses at the station and enters room 212, but no one's in the bed. Instead, a young male nurse named Matthew is changing the sheets and adjusting the knobs on one of the 2 machines beside the bed. He has an unexpected tune playing from his iPhone, Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World, and he may be singing softly as he thinks he's alone. He smiles at Carrie and points to the table on the other side of the bed where more flowers have been delivered. They're more grown up, if that can be said of flowers, than the bouquet in Carrie's hands. But Matthew smiles at them, so she puts hers down beside the others, relieved that she finally did something right. But where was her mother? Matthew hands her the schedule hanging on the side of the bed. According to the clock that's about to strike 2 p.m., her mother's in radiology for testing. Matthew gestures the chair beside the bed, offers her a glass of water and the TV remote as he leaves the room. And number 3, Carrie walks toward room 212 without acknowledging the nurses at the station, who themselves have moved on to the next screen, the next schedule of meds to disperse, the next part of their lives that will continue once they leave this building tonight. But not Carrie's, at least not in the same way as before. Matthew's cart is standing in the hallway beside the door, unmanned. The bed has already been stripped, the blinds are open. Oddly, the TV is still on, and someone is droning on about a war in some far part of the world. Too much sadness for Carrie to swallow all at once. She retrieves her teddy bear vase. The flowers are now all drooping, so she gathers them in one hand, rips them out of the vase, and throws them into the trash can that has yet to be emptied from the night before. She sees the note she'd handwritten the other day, and she leaves it in the trash, but takes the teddy bear.
Okay, good.
I have to credit
Um,
Bill Simon. I just read his memoir about his mother passing away in a hospital, and it's a really good book. And I literally, my brain is on mothers in hospital. So there you go.
which book was this? I'm sorry.
Bill Simon. It's a book. What's the title? It's about his mother and her life. Basically, she was a receptionist in speakeasies in the 20s, and she hung out with gangsters in the 30s. And he tells her story while he sits beside her bedside as she's in hospice care. So it's a really good book, and I can't believe I don't know the title. It's over by my bedside. I have to go find it. But anyway, that's where my brain
Oh,
was at.
right. Can anybody retell the story? Summarize it. It's got some interesting aspects to it from a narrative viewpoint. Anybody want to jump in? I'll try something. Okay, the Carrie's the main character. She for the first time in the first scene, she seems to be maybe late getting to see the patient, which is revealed as her mother. And she meets the guy. The guy that she's meeting is Matthew. He's the orderly that goes around, and the mother, the person is gone. So my interpretation at that point is that she died. Is that true?
That was my
Well,
first thought, and then I realized, oh, now I'm going out of time. I'm flashbacking clearly, unintentionally.
apparently that's what. Okay, so then I started to construct. All right, maybe the second one, since the mother is alive, or the patient is alive. Maybe you had mentioned mother. Then so this is actually the middle scene, maybe. Um, and she brings flowers. She meets the orderly, knows him. She knows her, and the mother is still not there. She's doing tests or something. And the last one was that also in order or out of order, or how was that?
Yeah, now I'm confused because it's clearly the same as the first one, just differently done.
I'm sorry, it's the same as the first one?
I think because now it's the minute she discovers she's gone. So I've done it twice. I screwed up. I was looking for depression, and that was where the depression came from. So I'd have to rethink that.
Okay, good, interesting. Well, I no no normally maybe it's because I know you and you're actually not a student. I was asking you things, but typically I'll just summarize it, then ask if anybody else got something different, and then the person will explain what they were after, what were they trying to convey? What, because the idea is communication isn't saying something, is being understood, and that's the game. You got to convey that. So in terms of did anybody pick up anything else that I missed or that Roseanne missed? Anybody? Um, okay, so basically the story was told out of order. The beginning was the second, then the middle, and then the ending was the same as the first one, same time. Okay, you've fractured the chronology here. Very interesting. I did note the use of atmosphere, use of the cart, the planting, paying off of that, and all those little tools that you have to make things visual. Um, Good. All right. Anybody else? Do we have time to do anything else, or
Yeah, we
anybody?
can we can take another one.
Okay. Would somebody like to throw their story out there?
Who's going to? It's a shy room tonight.
I know, don't be shy.
Or
Who wants
just
to go?
want to read your first scene?
I can read my first scene, but I missed the beginning, so I didn't realize that we weren't using dialogue. So I
Oh,
I launched into dialogue. So, but I'll do my first one. Just
let's do it.
okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Interior Fairgrounds Pig Auction House Day. Franny, well, I guess should I introduce her? I was thinking we already knew her, but we could say Franny, 17, unsure, heads into the auction area. Sun beams in, blocking Franny's view for a moment. She begins to focus and sees young kids standing near their pigs, some looking proud, others wishing to be anywhere but here. The fumes are overwhelming, and Franny takes a step back. From across the way, she can make out Riley, 18, waving towards her. She hesitates and then takes a step towards him. So that's all I got. Then I mean, I had a scene that followed, but it was mostly dialogue. So, um,
Well, it's an interesting setup,
yeah.
unique. I pig auction. I wouldn't know what that is. So that's
I,
uh,
I just was thinking I have a screenplay that's kind of set at a chicken festival at this auction. There's auctions all around, and it's kind of a love story. Partly, it's a coming of age. So I was just thinking, like, it's always good to take your characters out of the scenes that you know them in and see where they would act if they were someplace else. So I was just kind of thinking I would just do that. So I was just thinking like if there was a next day to the festival, like what could they possibly do? But yeah, it's such a crazy world. But yeah, I'm sorry I missed I had technical issues, so I
Yeah,
was late.
well, we had technical issues too, so
We
that's
did.
I'll go ahead and read my
Oh,
piece that
well, can
I
I
was.
just comment
Oh,
on
sorry.
Randy's really quickly? I got real Charlotte's Web vibes. I
Oh.
got the it was a young adult thing, a love story
Right.
going on, but I was really, yeah, I was thinking Charlotte's Web, and they're at the fair, and it's about the pig, and I love the whole, like, you don't, pigs aren't beautiful, but it's a beautiful emotion happening with pigs like that. I love. So
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking like he's kind of best friends with this pig, so it just shows this different side to him.
Yeah, you had me at pig auction. I was in.
Well, I'll read mine, and then if we have time, we could read your dialogue if you like. I don't object to
No,
it, but I wanted to.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Of course, then you'd have to cast it. All right, here's what I got. Night, John 55, a white man tanned dark brown by the sun, bald on top with a tangle of long white hair and beard in need of grooming, sores on his face, pushes a shopping cart filled with an assortment of junk and necessities along an aging suburban street. Rain begins to pelt him. He pushes the cart to the shelter of a tree, then spots a dilapidated house nearby. The roof is mostly intact, though part of it has been destroyed. The windows boarded up, but there is a large fire-blackened opening in one of the walls that yields the view of a dark interior. He pushes the cart through a broken gate at the rear and past a sagging umbrella standing over some grimy blonde furniture. He enters the house, which is a ruin of fire-damaged furniture and junk. He settles in a corner, sheltered from the rain, pulls out a sandwich. A growl is heard. He's startled. A little doggy, emaciated and mangy, pokes its face out from behind the junk. He offers the doggy a bite. Scene one. Scene two, day. John, 55, pushes his cart along a sunlit sidewalk. The cart is loaded down with some groceries. He pushes it into the back of the house, which has been fixed up a bit. I would have put more details there, but I'm sorry, I ran out of time. The doggy greets him, spinning in circles and barking. The dog looks to be in much better health. A sold sign can be seen in the front yard. And the third one, cloudy day, John 57 stands before a brand new mansion where the house used to be. The doggy is not there. Some police arrive to confiscate his cart. And then it was 10:40, it was 6:45, and that was it. We're done.
Dun dun dun.
Um, Clear? Anybody want to venture to summarize it?
So there was the man, disheveled, with sores on his face, was the thing that leaped out to me, pushing his cart and arriving at the fire damaged ruin of a house,
Yes.
and very alone, clearly a very alone person. But then I'm being distracted by a dog as I talk, by the way. And then
Yes,
and
you had
then
one.
he meets an emaciated little dog and shares his sandwich, demonstrating altruism and kindness to a creature in need.
That's right.
And then I lose details when listening. I'm not very good at this task, I have to say. But then in the second stage, the house was in better shape, right? It was renovated, and the dog was wagging its tail and happy to see him. And clearly they bonded. And then do you know what? I've lost the third one actually, because I'm so bad at this type of exercise. What was the third part, Paul?
It's only two sentences. A cloudy day, John 57 stands before a brand new mansion where the house used to be. The doggy is not there. Some police arrive to confiscate his cart.
Of course, the confiscation of the cart.
This is
A, a
it's
nice
fun.
critique of capitalism built into into this exercise.
Well, you kind of, at least for me, I encourage the students to write, at least 3 observations a day in a book and observe the world. And a lot of the etudes in this early part are about things that they know themselves, people that they know, describe the character. And my daughter does street medicine for the homeless. So she encounters, and I've been out there with her on Skid Row, and you'll see these people with open wounds, and they have doctors at this little thing. So that I thought of that, and then curiously enough, we with that shooting at Brown University, it reminded me of the Santa Monica shooting 12 years ago, and that started out with a guy burning down his family's house, killing them, and then going and shooting up people. And I
Mm.
Google mapped that house and I got to see the dilapidated ruin. I thought, okay, I could use that. And it was burned out, and now you look at it, it's a big McMansion. So, and also, by the way, the police are they've discouraging street medicine now. They just arrest homeless in Orange County, and that'll bankrupt all the cities, but that's pretty expensive solution to homelessness.
That sounds about
Um,
right. The thing that leapt out at me about yours, Paul, is uh, how it just works to show a character who doesn't have much being altruistic. Um, that's just one of those things that always works, doesn't it? As soon as you had the character doing that, I was like, I'm in.
you connect with it. Yeah. And I should add, my daughter found such a dog, and that doggy is now Jade, who lives at home with her, and she rescued one that was literally living under an abandoned car in South Central,
Good for
uh,
her.
in that condition. And that doggy is her whole life now. Anyway,
Can I add something really quick?
sure.
You illustrated what I think we always try to teach all of our students, which is that you have to live a life and do things. So that I was influenced by this. Is a book. It's called Unforgettable, and it's by Scott Simon, who's the NPR guy.
Mhm.
But so the book was influencing me. You were influenced by something you actually did. Like we always tell them, go out and live a life so you have something to write about. And this was an exact perfect example of that. On top of this cool exercise of atmosphere, it made me realize how important it is to recognize where you're getting your ideas from.
Yeah, and they do. You can always tell when I have them do a character sketch of a person they know, you can tell when they're faking it. Because the ones that are people they actually know are very specific and so quirky and often so funny, that it shows. Even at age 18, they've experienced enough to they can draw on, and I think uh, that's definitely, Roseanne, a very valuable thing for them, and it's a consolation too if they don't sell a script right out of college. They can say, "Well, I'm doing research on the future script." Um, cool. Well, it's now it's an hour and 15 minutes, about an hour after the tech fiasco.
Exactly.
But
Perfect timing.
well, does anybody else want to share anything, or we're good? You get the basic idea. Um, the like I said, you kind of push them in the water and let them swim, and
Mm.
this won't be perfect. Randy, as you saw, it was still interesting to hear your first part, and some of them are like, "Oh, I got to finish this, and I'll bring it next class." I say, "No, you don't have to bring it. It's just to get you started in the process, and then you the etudes that follow. I don't have them rewrite things. They're little etudes. It's like the next
Mm.
one will build on this one. Okay. It's another one with no dialogue. You just use props and actions. And then we build up to the next one. And you don't bother rewriting it. These are etudes. It's like rewriting a scale that you do in music.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so they gradually build until they get, in this particular class, it's like a 7-page script, which is what they is can be shot in other classes. That's why they write them like that. But that's the theory. To basically, you make it task-based. Solve this problem. Three
Mm.
scenes, and you convey this. Don't worry about the theory. Don't worry about the hero's journey or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
think about how you're going to solve this problem in any creative way. And I tell them too, you can do science fiction, you could do historical piece, you can do whatever
Mm.
you want to do in this. It doesn't matter. Just it's all storytelling. So
I
that's
I'd be interested to know if anyone else had. Oh, sorry, Laura. Yeah, go ahead. You put your hand up.
up. I can't hear you.
I was going to say that I love this as a first class because so much of the time we're having to go back and correct and how can we see this in the frame? How can we tell this with action, right? So this is such a good way to just teach that right from the beginning. And then I like to really have them use the actors. So I teach a class that's half filmmakers, half actors, and they create projects together. And so we just had our finals, and I saw all these original pieces. And it's so interesting because I never know the chemistry of who will come together and what they will make. But I'm basically teaching the same thing. I'm teaching the actors not to act, but
Mhm.
to use body language, to use action and your body to tell the story. But I'm teaching them all to tell the story. And what I loved about this was it just really focused us on how to tell the story with the picture, which movies are moving pictures. So that was awesome. And to really think about what that's in. So I loved it. And then I wanted to say to you, Roseanne, one of my last slides that I do in my last lecture, which I do a whole thing now where I break everything up into active learning, lecture, act. It's all mixed all throughout the time we're together. But it says go to municipal court. By the way, that is the best place. Read, go to museums, dig
Oh,
into what make people tick, embrace your memories, eavesdrop, observe because we have lost that to a certain extent. Watch documentaries, and if you're shy, just get in there and keep grappling with the actors. So I just wanted to say, agreeing with everything that everyone's doing, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. I think
Mhm,
it's fabulous when you can have actors in your class. And
mhm.
we in yours it sounds institutionalized. Ours sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. But it makes such a difference. The process is help for the students have to learn, the writing students have to learn they're not writing characters, they're writing roles. What is it? Somebody's going to step in and do this. And how are they going to accomplish this? And so an acting class would be ideal for any writer. We don't, I've lost the argument at our school every time I brought it up. They should have a required acting class, but I do think it's really valuable. So it sounds like a great class. Cool. Good.
I agree. I'd love to hear about how you do that, Laura. If you want to come back and do a session one time,
Yeah.
I'd be all
Yeah,
ears.
yeah, I absolutely could. And what it's done was it's gotten the theater students integrated with the film students. And then
Yeah, yeah.
my dream comes through because they're scaffolding it by doing proof of concepts and scenes not fully realized, because no one should ever shoot the first thing they write. And then but they've experimented. So I've just read all the reflections of going, now I know what I'm going to do. Now I don't. And they also knew who they might work with and who they might not work with. So it's a
Yeah.
scaffolded, low stakes way to uh,
Mm.
build up to a capstone.
Yeah, please please come and tell us how to do that.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that at my university. That would be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get the
Yeah,
two
if
people
you
together.
do
Brilliant.
it, do one of these creative plays and we'll all act like we're actors.
I'm in.
Unless you want to bring actual actors, I'm sure they'd be
No,
welcome.
no, no. I mean, that's actually the point is the filmmakers. By the end of the semester, I don't know who's the actor and who's the filmmaker. They've all switched roles
Yeah.
and learned how the other functions, which is really valuable to all of them.
It sounds great. The thing that I'm always telling my screenwriting students, I did do a couple of sessions in my old university with writers and acting students. And the thing that I noticed with the acting students, they all understood goals and obstacles much, much better than the screenwriting
Mm-hmm.
students who take a really, really long time to accept how fundamental they are. And acting students they've got it, I guess, because they have it drilled into them much more.
Yeah, I'm going to share with anybody who's interested, and Laura, I'll send it to you. I'm sure I have your email address. There's a
Yes.
short film I did on, I don't know if you've heard of the GOTE approach to for actors, GOAT, goal, other, tactics, and expectations. I show it to it's a acting exercise that I show to my students, and that's how I critique their scenes. I say, goat that scene. I don't, nothing's happening in it. What actors aren't gonna, they don't ask what emotion I want to play. They want to know, what am I doing in the scene? And
It's what are you doing? Yeah.
Right. And if you put that in there, the scene becomes really actable. Otherwise, it's not. So I'll share that.
Absolutely. It was. I was having that exact conversation with someone yesterday. Yeah, I don't know why it's been the case with all writing students I've ever had. It takes, and I think it was the case with me as well, actually. It takes a really long time to accept goals and obstacles, goals and obstacles. It's so fundamental to put that in first and then think about subverting it later and doing something different if you want, but it probably won't work, And yet actors, there you go. They've got it.
Well, I think about something I learned in the program with Roseanne, which was that when you're writing, that every scene could potentially have 2 different endings. And to just keep playing around with that as much as possible early in your process to see what's the win that then propels you into that next.
Yeah.
Can I just chip in? Sorry.
Hi, Rex.
How you doing?
Yeah, so I'm driving from Oxford to London, so I've been listening to it. Don't ask. I've got a wall cabinet in the back, and I've driven 200 miles to get it home.
It sounds like the beginning of an interesting story, actually.
Yeah, that sounds like an Iranian film from the 80s is what it sounds like to me.
Talking about, I used to be an actor, and you're completely right. What the first thing an actor says on set when they know their lines, they're in costume, they ask the director, "What am I doing? What business am I doing?" And also the other thing, the thing that I'm teaching my students at the moment is to say that what I do is I make sure that they put verbs in their action lines. So each action line has a verb, and I ask them to do that on the first draft is just, I would say, noun, verb, noun, right? That's the first draft. They can put the colors afterwards, but then I say that's visual writing because it's always active. And then what I say with the dialogue, I use that bit from, there's a YouTube clip with the film with, sorry, my memory's going because I've been driving for almost the whole day. The film with Ray Fiennes, and I think it's he plays a director and he teaches this young actor how to act. Can't remember what the film is.
Is it Hail Caesar?
Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene called Hail Caesar where he's teaching this young actor how to say one line, and then there's this YouTube clip which actually takes each line. The line is repeated, but each line is a verb. So I always say to my students, dialogue is active too, because what an actor does when they get a script is they break it down. Stanislavski style. So each word is you're doing something to somebody, to persuade, to cajole, to whatever. So that's what an actor would do. And after a while, an actor does that unconsciously, but that's not what a writer does. So what I say to my students, I say, look, you need to kind of do that first until it's second nature, but always remember that words are active as well as action. And if you do those two things, then you'll get a script that really pops.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, the adage I was taught was when in the description, every sentence is a shot, something doing something. And that's how it reads. Because in a stage play, you can see they'll list, all the stuff that's on stage, and that's almost unreadable. And you can't do it in a screenplay. You have to make sure we discover it through actions. And that's a great That's a great idea, way of putting it. I definitely tell them to put verbs in their lines of dialogue, but I haven't thought about it for the description. So that's helpful. Thank you.
I see. I never do emphasize that with my students, and I absolutely should. Good stuff.
I would always say just the first draft, your spit draft, just to make sure, because usually after you've done it a while, you get the hang of it, and you will always put that in. But it's I usually get students who come from literature. So
Yeah.
to a certain degree, they like to put adverbs and adjectives and color things in. And I say, no adjectives, no adverbs. It doesn't matter if the t-shirt is green. It doesn't matter if the book is large. It doesn't really matter. The set decorators will do all that. What I say is just say book, just say a verb, read, and just say man reads book. And then
Yeah.
after a while, once you get a flavor of the story, I say, yeah, you can put adjectives and adverbs in, but only with the protagonist. Just to make sure, because when someone reads it, they read on the protagonist's point of view, and they might need that bit of flavor and color. Everybody else is supporting, so don't worry about them. They'll figure it out. But with the protagonist, make sure that you got adjectives, sprinkle a few adjectives and adverbs, and that will bring some color. It'll make a much more interesting read. But definitely in the first draft. After they've done the first draft, they're on their own. But at least you know that the spine, the foundation, is action. So that's what I say.
Yeah, I like it. Very good.
Makes it readable. It makes
Yeah.
you want to keep turning the pages instead of stopping and looking at how much
Yeah,
copy.
but what helps is then the other thing that I tell my students, I said, your job is to put pictures into the reader's mind, right? You are building a film in their head, and that they can't, the only thing they can see is nouns and verbs, right? They cannot see adjectives or adverbs. And I say to them, yeah, what is blue? And they go, can you see blue? And they go, yeah, of course. Yeah, you've got a blue t-shirt on. I goes, yeah, you're seeing the t-shirt and then the color, right? So you need to see that. You can see nouns, your person, place, or thing, and the verbs is someone doing something to something. Those are the only two things you need in screenwriting, right? Initially, and then that's when you're writing visually, because you are writing things that people can see from the get-go. And that's the foundation of your script. And then afterwards, it can have flavor and color, all that kind of stuff. But the foundation is definitely writing visually, nouns and verbs, and that's it. That's all you need at the beginning.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
I agree. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll just apologize if anyone can hear a squeaking. It's because the dog has found a squeaky toy over there. Hopefully, it's far away enough that you can't. But I guess we should wrap up now. It's
Okay,
turning to an
thank
end.
you.
Before we go, can I say one thing?
Oh yeah, Roseanne.
I want everybody to thank Chris for creating this space where
Yes,
between
thank you.
SRN conferences, and even for folks who can't attend all the conferences, this is what it's about. Just this chit-chatting about what we do helps all of us get better. And we can't make all of them, but the fact that he records them and they're available for later, I just want to thank him, because it takes a lot of time to arrange these things, and we can see the benefit of it. Just we all had this moment this morning that was very useful. So thank you very much, Chris.
It's entirely selfish, because it's just so nice to have this, isn't it? To have like just half an hour to share ideas and chat about this stuff, which the kind of thing you can do at a conference, but it's so nice to just have that every month or two, isn't it? In between. I think it is anyway. So thank you very much for coming, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to work on my Microsoft Teams, so this never happens again, ever. All right. Take care. Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
And see you next time.